All these little things driving me crazy. I just wanna be free. All these feelings got me seeing hazy. I can barely breathe. I'm the southern type, no you can't tame me. Baby, I'll just leave. There's no point in trying to chase me. Only one thing I need. Oh no, say it ain't so. I do what I want and I don't like no. Oh no, say it ain't so. Oh no, say it ain't so. I don't see the point in not letting go. Oh no, if there's one thing you should know, say it ain't so. I don't live my life for anyone, I just live it for me. Why does everyone have a problem with what I'm choosing? Oh no, say it ain't so. I do what I want and I don't like no. Oh no, say it ain't so. Oh no, say it ain't so. I don't see the point in not letting go. Oh no, if there's one thing you should know, say it ain't so. I live life for me. I just want to be free. I live life for me. I just want to be free. Oh no, say it ain't so. I do what I want and I don't like no. Oh no, say it ain't so. Oh no, say it ain't so. I don't see the point in not letting go. Oh no, if there's one thing you should know, say it ain't so. stopping me now. I look around for cars, head down when I cross. It's got a way of knowing us when we think we're lost. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter anyway. We're on the track, moving fast with a bucket of faith. I'm gonna make it somehow, past the fire, past the sounds. Moonshot through the clouds, saddle up, 'cause there's no stopping me now. No stopping me. No stopping me now. And when it's gone and this facade just falls away, gonna take this shot, giving heaven and hell, give them all we got, yeah. I'm gonna make it somehow, past the fire, past the sounds. Moonshot through the clouds, saddle up, 'cause there's no stopping me now. No stopping me. No stopping me now. Turning over the stones, riding high on the hole. No stopping me. Stepping into the now, never worried about the how. No stopping me now. All these little things driving me crazy. I just wanna be free. All these feelings got me seeing hazy. I can barely breathe. I'm so inside, no you can't tame me. Baby, I'll just leave. There's no point in trying to chase me. Only one thing I need. Oh no, say it so. I do what I want and I don't like no. Oh no, say it so. Oh no, say it so. I don't see the point in not letting go. Oh
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the AMD Presents Flipkart Back to College Cup Season 1, powered by Azrock, Acer, WG Black, and Portronic. It's going to be your boy, Aggressive here, back on the hot seat after a very long time. And it's going to be Ahana on my side to bring you all the action. Hey, it's Valorant. I'm back. You're back. And when we're both of us together, you know for a fact that a lot of good Valorant action is going to be in front of us.
Absolutely. And today is going to be quite interesting, aggressive, because we're not only going to be seeing just Valorant, it's going to be coming in from the players who have not shown their faces on screen as much. It's going to be some newcomers, it's going to be some up and coming players, and that's something that brings in a lot of surprise element. I'm pretty excited to see what they bring to the table.
I'm really excited because underdogs are where the real game really lies, right? We already know what the good players can do. We already know what they're capable of. They've proven themselves time in and time out in all of the big tournaments that we have hosted in the past. But new players, the brand new newcomers, they haven't really been given that opportunity. And this cup is where they really need to start showcasing what they're really capable of. Also, getting picked up by big orgs down the line, you never really know because a lot of hidden talent is there in India, but they just need to be found out. Here at PC, we're trying our hardest to try and pull those players.
Absolutely. And not only that, I think when it comes to the newcomers, they themselves feel like they have a lot to prove to the audience, and that pushes them to their edges, and they just go ahead and perform to their utmost best when they're trying to deliver on any competition which is being streamed to begin with. And not only that, there's also a huge prize pool on the line, which we can discuss in a second.
Yep. I'm really hoping to see which team is going to be the one to take the entire first place prize pool of 25,000 INR for themselves, with the second place having a 15,000 INR cut. The prize pool, yeah, it's very much sizable, but what they're here for truly is the experience that they can gain. Don't forget, I need to keep on reiterating this, that this tournament is pretty much meant for those up and coming teams to really showcase what they're capable of. The experience that they gain here down the line when we're hosting even more larger tournaments, that's where it's really going to start to pay off. And now that they've gotten that first taste, that first initial bite of victory, or even the initial bite of a tournament, it's going to help bring themselves forward even more. But as we are jumping on down over into the format, let's talk about what the journey is of this tournament has been. Nana, you can walk us right through it.
Yep, we had open qualifiers from 11th to 14th of May, but now the teams are going to be entering into a double elimination round where we have 8 teams available who are going to be playing this, who have made themselves qualified to the stage, and they all get one extra lifeline compared to what they were playing before. But that's just it, just one extra, which is a double-edged sword. Would you like to describe how?
Yeah, just think about it in this way. Whenever you're on that upper bracket run, you're very confident and you already know that, hey, we have a little bit of a safety net. So even if we do make mistakes in our gameplay, even if we do lose a series, we still have that lower bracket run to give us a tiny bit of headway. But once you reach that lower bracket, that's when the reality starts to really take hold of you. Like, hey, if we lose here, there's no more going back. We're directly out of this tournament. And that's where the real dilemma starts to show up. That the teams that have made it through the upper brackets, they don't really have to play as many games, right? That's the perk of being at the upper bracket run. You have to play less games compared to the players that are on the lower bracket run as you're heading on over to the grand finals, and the players that have gone through the lower bracket have a tendency of winning out overall against the upper bracket teams, considering the amount of games that they have played. So as we're jumping on down over into the schedule to just talk about which teams are going to be on our forefront today, I'm really hoping to see how the lower bracket is going to shape up, because in past tournaments that we have seen and even in big international events, the teams that go through the lower brackets have a higher percentage of winning compared to the teams that are on the upper bracket.
That's true, and that's the reason we say it's a very risky, overall format. When you go ahead in a double elimination format, it does put you on the edge completely all through the time. Whether you're in the upper bracket or lower, you have quite a lot to prove. And the first game for the day, where the teams are going to be fighting for that spot on the upper bracket, is going to be between DUPG Esports and AR Juniors.
WG versus AR again. we don't really have a lot of information when it comes down to these rookie level teams. But what we do know is if they're able to make it through the qualifiers, they deserve to be here when it comes down to the playoffs as too, right? Both of these teams, they have players that have proven themselves through multiple other squads. So I'm really excited to see what both of these teams have in store for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel like I've seen DUPG Esports play before once, but I'm not completely sure when and where, so I wouldn't go ahead and make any claims of what exactly their playstyle is. But it's going to be quite an interesting match because I do remember that I did see them dominate in the tournament that I had like casted before. So I'm just excited to see if they're going to be running the same way or if it's going to be, toppling down this time around. Because if they've already played before, there's definitely information that has been available to AR juniors.
In a way, yes, but then again, when it's up and coming teams, the information is a little bit too far in between, even when you're trying to do research on your opponents. So WG Esports, they still have the element of surprise, but AR Junior on the other side of the spectrum, they're also on the same boat. We don't really know what to expect. We don't really know what both of these teams have to offer to us. So jumping on over into the lineups, the members of WG, I'm gonna take your word for it that they could just be the better squad purely because of how well they played in the past. But we're going to be able to see exactly who are the players and what kind of teams that they're going to be making out. Personally, I don't really know any of these players, but maybe you can shine some light on how they're going to be playing here today.
Well, I've only seen one single match from them, but I do think that they are going to be bringing up the game that they showed the last time around. I still have a doubt, considering that the opposite team to them was not AR Juniors the last time around, obviously. And that puts me in a place of not being able to judge exactly how well they will be playing against this particular team, but they altogether are a great squad. And I do have quite a lot of expectations from A Star and Batman in this spot. So let's see. Let's see how that unfolds for them.
Jumping on down to the lineup coming in from AR, I'm kind of interested to see what kind of strategies both of these teams are going to be utilizing as well. Whenever a team is brand new, whenever we have not really heard of them, the main thing that really surprises me is a lot of squads stray away from the meta compositions and pick something a little
Yep.
bit more that they feel is comfortable for their entire team. Possibilities of a Viper being swapped out for another controller, maybe a Brimstone and an Omen. Some teams, sorry, are really starting to pick up on that. Harbor is also quite a decent option. Move now also being inside of the game and also being enabled in competitive levels of play can really swap out and fill in the role that the Viper could not really fill in, being that secondary entry that we witnessed from Chamber when he was introduced first in his overpowered state. There's a lot of different compositions that you can now play for, especially with Viper not being in the same playing field as she used to be. But still, regardless, some maps such as Breeze and Icebox still require you to have that Viper on the team. And if you're not going to run a Viper, having that Harbor with a second controller just is pretty much a necessity. Teams now, they need to be a lot more creative in the way that they utilize composition. So hopefully we're going to be able to see that coming out from both of these squads.
Hopefully, because again, when it comes to the newer teams, as you mentioned, they do stray away from the meta, and that's where you get to see more and more creativity and more adaptability as well, because they're playing against teams who don't already have their cards put down on the table. So I want to see how quickly they adjust and how quickly they're going to be able to, cope up with whatever problems they're facing in the game, and that's where the real test of time will happen.
Considering that the maps are also being picked up, we're going to be jumping on down over into the video, ladies and gentlemen, to see exactly where we are going to be taken over. And Sunset being that first initial pickup, a pretty big surprise, I would say, because a lot of teams have strayed away from Sunset over time, but now with Breeze being a permanent ban, we all know for a fact that no one likes Breeze. Is that big of a surprise? Not really. Sunset
Not
is
really, yeah.
a trifecta of maps that I'm quite happy about, other than Ascent, of course. This map needs to go away really quickly. I'm pretty sure that this is not going to be part of the game in the next act.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, it's definitely one of the maps that we've seen way too much of. Like Ascent and Haven are two of the maps that that kept coming in all the time.
I'd
But
rather have
considering Haven is
Haven
not
than
available right
Ascent.
now, it's better. Anyone would, because Ascent has been here since the beginning of time and it has never moved. It's never moved. But yeah. I'm pretty excited to see how Icebox is gonna go, because that will require a lot of pace change compared to the other two maps. Because Icebox is one of those maps where the verticality comes into play as well, and you have to be a little more, aware, slowing you down a little bit. So I think Icebox is gonna be the most interesting one. Also, it's gonna be the one that decides whether or not there's a lifeline given to the other team. Whoever wins the first map would actually want to close things out on Icebox, and whoever loses would want to look for a continuation on Icebox. So it's gonna be the more do or die situation map than any of the others.
Interesting facts all around, but what I'm really interested to see is what the map of Sunset has in store for us when it comes down to overall compositions. The map of Sunset really has a duality where some teams start to pick up on that double shooter based composition. Some teams prefer to go for more of a double controller setup. Double sentinel is also there as a possibility if you're starting off on the defensive side and you want to get that strong head start lead. Cypher, now being a little bit weaker than what he used to be, doesn't have a strong chokehold as per usual as he did before on the B side. There's more options now to play on Sunset, and I think that Sunset is possibly one of the more balanced maps in the entire game purely on the basis of agent composition, because no other map, in my opinion, has the composition diversity that we have seen coming out from Sunset. We have a map like Ascent where one singular composition reigns supreme in most cases. Some teams do stray away from it, sort of pick up on that Viper, maybe pick up on that Sky, going for a couple of flash-based setups, but even then, they don't really have that same oomph and that same strength that the KO-based composition does. Even on Breeze, you need to have that Viper, you need to have that KO in some instances, and a Sova is pretty much a must. But here on Sunset, if you have that reach, yeah, it's a good pickup. If you have a Gecko on your team, that's also pretty strong. Sova, very powerful because of the existence of Cypher on that B side. You need something to take those shot guards. There's options that you can go for, and it's primarily the initiators that do change up. What hasn't changed, in my opinion, is the duelists. Now, I don't know about you, but in my opinion, I don't think Raze requires to be nerfed. I know she is a very prominent duelist in this current meta, and you need to pick her up in every instance, but I think that's because Raze just is more powerful than every other duelist in the entire game. I don't think that she
Exactly.
herself is overpowered. I think everyone else is so underpowered that they need to pick a Raze. Otherwise, why pick a duelist at all? Just go for a no duelist composition.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you on that one. But yeah, I do feel like having Race on your team is always a plus, considering the current meta is going in that way. But I on Sunset do not go with a double initiator. We've talked a lot about the initiators right now, but I am one of those people who goes with a double duelist, double controller setup, and I just want to aggressively go in and participate in the fights. Even though the name is yours, I'm the one performing that in game. Except for the skill difference, which does not get me heads, but it gets me through.
Hey, we don't have to worry about that for now. We're gonna talk more about your gameplay later on down the line because the players, they're prepped up and ready, and we're jumping straight on down over into agent selection.
Am I
Possibility of
seeing
a
a double
Euro
duelist?
here. Yeah, the possibility of a Euro is there, but I think they're debating us. That's not gonna happen. And a long forgotten character is also on the opposite side. An ISO. I don't think that's gonna be a possibility. Instantly, that's gonna be a swap over to the Rays, but in my opinion, Isu's just a forgotten child in this game. I don't think
True
that
that.
he's ever gonna be that good.
Well, I agree. I agree. It's kind of difficult to get that, work around with the rest of the team. Specifically, if you're in a stage like this where you're competing against teams and actually fighting for a professional title. So you might want to stray away from picking something like that. But yeah, the complete lineup from the side of our attackers, that is AR Juniors, has shown up, and they are choosing to go with Raze alongside Omen as the controller. Okay, I like Omen, But I feel like this is going to be slightly difficult because the moment you lose Omen, you have nothing else to actually cover up for you. Considering even Cypher has been nerfed a little, I think the smoking ability has gone down for the team a little.
To the slightest of degrees, but I think Omen just allows you to have that versatility in your arsenal, especially with
That's
that
true.
paranoia. Plus, with the way that the Shrouded Step works, you can utilize those teleports to get into very varied positions that your opponents can't really reach, especially when you're talking about the A side and on the B side, there's a lot of high grounds that the Omen can reach and create power angles that is very difficult for the attackers. And even when you're on the attacking side, you can also create powerful positions that the defenders can't really clear you out of. The amount of playmaking potential that Omen has on this particular map makes him a must have in some instances. And if you pair it up with a Sage as well, in some cases, as we have seen coming out from Paper Reds on international level tournaments, you can create certain angles that no other character can get to. Before, yeah, you had a Jet in your arsenal, you had the W updraft, we could get into very unconventional positions, but now no other agent other than Omen can do this just through the usage of one ability. So his strength lies in the creativity of the player. And hopefully both of these squads that they have picked up this Omen can really utilize this character to its fullest potential, because I have seen certain games on Sunset completely being dictated by how creative an Omen could be in the usage of their shrouded steps.
Well, I would definitely want to see how these teams are going to be bringing the Omen's gameplay out. But yeah, considering they have gone with a double initiator lineup for the side of AR Junior, I am expecting a much slower gameplay compared to what I'm used to of when it comes to Valorant, specifically on the earlier stages. But I think that also means that there's going to be even more room for that creativity to flourish, because the more time you have to actually think your moves before making them, the better you can execute on new and new styles round after round. And I think that versatility of gameplay through the rounds is gonna, go ahead and show us exactly who is the worthier team out of the two.
Yep, I completely agree with you there. It's going to be a little bit more of a surprise in the way that the reach and the fade is going to be played. Fade, in my opinion, has not been as forgotten as a couple of the other initiators, because
Yes.
we've seen Sky be one of the primary sources of utility and the primary sources of initiator gameplay for every other map, such as Pine. He was also one of the primary pickups when we look at Breeze, when the new iteration of Breeze came out. And a lot of her strengths have just been taken away from her. Why would anyone now pick up a Sky when you have that option to take a Fade instead? Fade pretty much does the same thing as Sky. She has a pseudo flash that you can utilize to pop out through the utilization of her prowlers. She creates an extra entity on the map that the players need to shoot before they can even start to take a fight against you. The same thing that the Sky allows with a Trailblazer. Now, Sky not being able to recharge back her utility is one of the primary reasons why she has fallen out of favor. And in my opinion, if Sky was still, if Sky, sorry, still had the ability to get those flashes back over time, even if it was on a 60-second cooldown, let's say, there could have been a very good chance that she was still part of the meta. But the fact that she doesn't have that, slowly players have started realizing that Fade is much more of a better option. The fact that she can give you a lot of information through the usage of her horn, the prowlers being an incredible tool to take space and also clear everything out, set up situations that your race can also use the pain shells to guarantee damage in comparison to just chucking it on hoping for the best. You have a lot more combo potential that you wouldn't really have if you didn't have a Fade on your team. And I do believe that the members of WG Esports, they're going to be feeling that pressure on their side, because they don't have that Fade, and that could just come to bite them in the back later on down the line.
Exactly. And I mean, considering that Fade's ultimate also does not take a long time to actually come back online, and it's actually one of the ones that literally paralyzes you. You get no clues of where someone is coming from, and you give away all of your hints. It's pretty heartbreaking to be on the receiving side of a nightfall. But I think Fate being herself will be quite an exceptional addition for the side of AR Juniors. And again, seeing the way they have picked up their agents, I feel like they're gonna be able to show us quite a lot of new ways to deal with opponents on the map like Sunset. Because for now, I have seen quite a few ways, but I still expect something completely out of the box from the side of AR Juniors.
Something out of the box could be on the cards, but at the same time, it could be on the opposite end as well. You never really know. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, we know that the delays are getting a little bit too long, but we're trying to fix up as many problems as we can for the players so that they can have a smooth experience and also bring you the best gameplay. And as we are waiting here, don't forget, there's a lot of really good sales coming in from our sponsors. Make sure to check out the link down below in the description if you want to get yourself a good deal on any of the products from our lovely sponsors. Let it be monitors, let it be RAM sticks, we all got you covered. All the links down below in the description.
And well, that sale is gonna give you another chance to actually go ahead and grab the stuff that you require to get yourself in the next college tournaments and find yourselves being on the stage, sharing it with 5 of your best buddies.
Hey, hopefully down the line, we are hoping to get a LAN up and running. So if you want to be part of that, if you want to have the best gear possible to increase your chances to qualify, we got you covered. Links down below in the description. But coming on back towards the team, let's talk a little bit more about the second game for the day. It's going to be Fire 5. And in my opinion, I'm a little bit more excited about the team that Fire 5 could be bringing on down to the table, because in my opinion, as I've seen in the past, Fire 5 is one of those squads that have proven themselves to be a force that could be reckoned with, but then again, they fall a little bit further back.
I am pretty interested to see how much fire they're going to be bringing to this table because, again, these are teams that I have not seen play before, but I would definitely want to see what they're bringing to the table. But yeah, I definitely expect to see a different map pick when it comes to those teams because, again, I am not suspecting a lot of Sunset. This was a surprise coming in the first game itself. And I am hoping for a different map in the next one when we open up. I really don't want to see Ascent, to be honest. As you mentioned, it's just been too long since we've been seeing that. Also, it's a very stale meta situation. You have the same 5 agents coming in every single time with the same kind of playstyle, same kind of strategies. So I really want to see something new and fresh this time around. But yeah, that fire is gonna have to wait a little bit. And until then, we're gonna be diving in for DUPG versus AR Juniors.
Coming straight on down over and towards the game, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for all of the delays, but the players, they're already ready and prepping for the first initial fight. It's going to be A-Star who did get the first initial kill. One Geta gets a free plant over towards the B side. And this, a little bit questionable in what the play was like towards the mid side. The defenders went in for a full-on rush! And the head has been spotted for one of the players. Omen taking a back seat, and with the push coming in towards Boba, it's absolute chaos all across the map. Players already dropping down over to a 2v2, and before we could even try to comprehend what was going on inside of the map, it's already down to a 1 versus 2 here, Anna.
Exactly, and even though the start came in pretty well from the side of AR Juniors, it seems like DUPG Esports was able to go ahead and keep their heads high with the victory coming in for their side in this first round. It's a double initiator lineup. I was thinking that this was gonna be a slightly slower game, but they just started barging in right into a fast B hit, got their plan done, and then weren't able to hold on to it. I'm seeing the lack of the Sentinel utility here.
I don't think it's a lack of a Sentinel utility. I think they're trying to brute force as many fights as they possibly can, Anna. With this double, with this double duelist setup. I was so surprised when I saw 5 players just trying to push out towards the mid side. They want heavy mid presence, and I completely admire that coming out from them. They understand that, hey, if their opponents are not able to take over mid, that instantly means that they're forced towards the main side, and when you're trying to play through a choke, it's difficult to try and even hold down a side properly.
Makes sense. Well, this time around they do have the better weaponry, and that's why I don't see a lot of aggression coming in from the side of DUPG Esports, because they do realize that no matter what, in the end, their hands onto Spectres is gonna be giving them a better fighting opportunity even after the plant. However, they would want to avoid the plant overall. AR Juniors already in their way into site A, which was
Spike
completely
planted.
left vacant, and a retake plan is coming in from the side of DUPG Esports. Do you think this is going to be possible?
A retake is on the cards, and I like the way that the attackers are going in for. Disease is going to be able to shut down 2 at the bare minimum. Eric's does find 1, but the defenders, they just have the better weapons, and this was such a smart call coming in from the members of WG2. They didn't want to risk anything here for this retake, and they only lost 1 gun in the process. This was a perfect round coming in from the members of WG, but ARJ, I think they're going to be happy with this one. Considering they got the spike plan down, that's more than enough money and more than what they could have asked for overall, considering their positions.
True that, true that. But I was expecting a little more economic damage for the side of WG Esports from the side of AR Juniors in this particular round. But well, they do have the opportunity to go ahead and fight off in this particular round, which is going to be a weaponry favored for the side of AR Juniors, while WG Esports are going to be playing on their bonus with multiple weapons which would not stand as good a chance against the Vandals and Phantoms coming in from the side of AR Juniors.
A little bit of a pause taken to just try and get everyone back in towards the game without any problems, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're very much sorry for all the delays, but we want to make sure that the players have the best experience possible to bring you all the best gameplay that they can possibly produce. So, as we are going to be waiting, make sure to check out all of our lovely sponsors down below and take a look at all their products, because there's a lot of very big sales happening down there. So if you just want to check it out, you can also support us in the process. But for now, DUPG, I'm personally loving their style of gameplay here for their defensive side. They want to take fights, and they're taking it together as a group, and their retakes are phenomenal. I haven't really seen a team play this well when it comes down to retakes for a very long time. Even professional level teams that we've seen in India, tier 1 caliber teams, struggle when it comes down to the retakes, and to retake this well with a double duelist composition, that is unheard of. Possibly I'm going to be eating my own words soon after this, considering that this is a buy round coming in from AR Junior, so don't know what to expect. It could be either or.
It could be, it could be. But the way I have seen WG play before, I think you won't have to. I'm not going to put all my money on it, but I think you won't have to. Looking at the way they have tried to set this up, like, we can already see Cypher abilities being deployed on site A, which means Cypher will be holding on to that site, and we can expect that to be a retake site for the side of DUPG, and they wouldn't want to invest a lot of man force onto that particular area. Rather, would be more interested in making sure that they have an eye set onto the mid area, and the other players will be playing from site B, making sure that that entry can be denied. In this particular situation, I feel like the best shot for AR Juniors would be to hit site B.
I'll just have to wait and see, honestly. ARJ, they have a lot of utility to play around with, but that utility needs to be used properly, and they need to get a proper read on where these duelists like to push out. It's only been 2 rounds, so I don't expect them to already have a game plan in their mind saying that, hey, the Phoenix is going to be pushing down over towards corridor, let's go in for an early stun, try to force them out of there, maybe send our own raise with a double satchel over from the corner of mid so he can take an early duel. I don't expect any of that just yet. What I do expect,
It's too soon.
is a little bit more of a reaction play coming out from them.
Yes. That could actually work out. I mean, if they played on retakes, nonetheless, that could work out as well. But I do wish for them to go towards site B this time around, because going into the cipher traps is scary. I'm very scared of fighting against a cipher, because it's just way too much information given away, and as a person who's more interested in the strategies than the actual aim duels, I am very scared of leaking out information when it comes to games like these.
We'll just have to wait and see then. But
Yep.
technical pause being taken by the members of ARJ. Not really much that we can do here. We'll have to wait and see how this pans out. The cam's also there, the teams. They're taking a little bit of a break, trying to understand what they really want to do for this particular round. Full buys on the hands of ARJ, so the ball's in their court. They have the stronger weapons, but on the map of Sunset, I've seen even the strongest of weaponry really fall flat to the hands of a Bucky or even a Judge in a lot of instances. The Judge not really as powerful as it used to be, and from what I have seen, a lot of players have shifted towards the Bucky. The Bucky now has a lot more of a higher chance to one-shot a player compared to the Judge. But even then,
True that.
it's a difficult gun to utilize to its fullest. And I don't think that any of the members of DUPG are going to be utilizing it.
Yeah, I didn't see them pick up any of the shotguns so far, so they are definitely going to be relying on the SMGs. But yeah, I want to see what the game is going to unfold to, because this is the round where AR Junior can actually change things around, actually find their footing. And this is also the round, if AR Junior loses this, they have hardly anything left for the next one. And DUPG can literally keep on capitalizing after that. This is going to be a complete confidence break for AR Juniors if they're not going to be able to make it. So this is an interesting one.
We need to jump on back into this game here. A very slow startup, I would say. As a very defensive-sided hold comes in from the members of DUPG. They're waiting to see what kind of information that they can gain here.
I have the spike.
Going in for a couple of jiggles here, but a very dangerous one at that, considering how close he is to the wall. Early information being given away, the Prower being utilized to get some info if any push did come out towards B main. So the defenders, they don't really have a lot of information, and once again, you do see the members of DUPG, they prefer to play the A side on a full retake. The Cypher not opting to go in for any form of an aggressive play and purely holding on towards mid. But Oblong get that.
And side B.
Yeah, go on.
There is going to be quite resistance coming in on side B from the side of DUPG. They have an idea that the push is going to be coming in here. Now that it's on the last 30 seconds, Omen very well utilizing the abilities, but not being able to survive for long.
These trades were just simultaneous. They ran in towards the side, and the players were just so ready to go in for these kind of trades.
10 seconds
Z's over towards the back. Good amount of information of where Syrax is going to be in the position, but the shots are so clean. Coming in from Syrax, the raise, single-handedly turning the tides of this battle. NB, he has the HP and he has the better weapon for these type of fights. The Spectre coming in strong and coming in clutch because of the running gun potential that it has. A good hold and a good start. 3-0 as the members of DUPG played this round to perfection.
It was quite a close one, quite a close one. Kyrex from the side of AR Juniors did magic by himself, had 3 frags for himself, and then came in Envy from the side of DUPG, just trying to surmount that number, went in for a 4 for himself. After that early pick of Hybrid, I thought that DUPG could not be finding that footing now, because it was a retake situation. They had to be able to go ahead and conceal the corners. But after the smoke's gone, I thought this was going to be difficult, but AR Juniors just could not hold on.
What is that lineup? Where does it land? It lands on the... What?
Surprise, surprise. What?
Questions to be asked, but the momentum play coming in from the members of DUPG. Just look at these guys, so confident when it comes down to their mid pressure. They just ran out immediately with the fade on, landing on top of the wire. I didn't even know that was a hitbox. The more you know as a caster, I guess. I'm going to be using that in my future games. The members of DUPG, they're showcasing certain strategies that would make absolutely no sense.
Well, that's where you find the magic happen. Kyrex was trying to have a frag earlier on Hybrid, but that didn't work out, and that's where everything started falling. After that, it was just a cycle of a chain reaction. Just frags after frags from both the sides. DUPG yet again with another round on their boards. This is fantastic. This start is very good. I mean, the confidence is rising high for the set of DUPG Esports.
Yeah, especially with NV2K leading charge. The man has no remorse on a Phoenix, mind you. This is something that we haven't seen in a very long time. The fact that Phoenix is having this much potential. Oh, yeah, true.
He's one Phoenix, he can do magic. Yet again, going in with that abomination force from the side of NV. Does not stay for long, but he did the job. He got the entry that was required.
Spike down A.
Happened as well. Quick when it came down to the refrags, and it seems as though this is a constant story of both sides performing so beautifully.
I know exactly
when it comes down to the refrags. Down over to a 1 versus 2 disease in a very unfavorable position considering where the opponents are going to be heading over to. He does have the camera though over on the B side to get some early levels of information and also utilize the tripwire to completely nullify one portion of the map if he wants to. He has information to play around with. And with the tripwire not being broken, Ahana, that basically means that, hey, there's absolutely no one playing onto his side of market. He now has full control.
True that. And considering that this is a 1v2 situation, plus they have great economy, he is going to go in for the fights. Oh no. The capture from the side of Fade, and that's going to be the boom bomb.
Yeah, that's a sad one at that, but not really much disease could have done there to try and survive. The fact that Hybrid died immediately meant that this was already over. That mid-fight pretty much dictated the pace of this entire roundup. 4-1. As DUPG, they still have ample amounts of money to play around with. Even if they want to here, they could just go for an operator and place it in the hands of the Raze or even the Sova to play a little bit more aggro in their arsenal, but first initial pickup, it's going to be Batman instead, who's holding down the line. Early information gained by Vishax. They're still not going to be able to go in for that much of a push.
True that, true that. DUPG needs to draw out the Nightfall as quickly as possible because that is one thing that can keep DUPG on their toes. One of the ultimates that's going to be pretty hard to fight against. They do have HP advantage right now, but the numbers are not going to be in their favor. And the ultimates that they have, I mean, most useful out of these seems to be the neural theft, but that too you would want to utilize after you have at least a couple of picks taken off from AR juniors. So currently, all seems to be dependent on the situations. There they go.
Flash out.
Oh, nice. Beautiful positioning from NB.
One enemy remaining.
Envy's an absolute Chad. I love the fact that he's also utilizing Phoenix Tech to make this one happen. I don't know if you know this or not, Ahana, but the way that the Omen Flash interacts with the Phoenix Flash is so interesting. If you ever get flashed by an Omen as a Phoenix, you can utilize your own flash, and if you're able to catch your opponents, they will now glow inside of the paranoia field, so you can see them even at long ranges. The fact that Envy is utilizing this tech to its fullest, I love to see that. That basically shows Asian mastery, and Envy, he's playing the Phoenix at a very high level.
Can I get a drop?
Absolutely. From the side of DUPG, it does seem like NV is taking quite a lot of weight on his own shoulders and very well executing that as well. This time with the operator in action, I was hoping for an, early crisp shot, but that was just way too much to ask. Batman, however, utilizing that ultimate to the best.
Cage trigger.
We have a little bit more room to play around with. A-Star, though, already spotted out one of the players. It's going to give them options, but this is a dangerous fight for Unity.
One enemy remaining.
What?
One at the
Down
but
B.
Disease, though, at the end of the day, did act as the bait, and Hybrid comes in from the sidelines to clean up house. 6-1, ladies and gentlemen. It's DUPG with a double duelist composition on the defensive side, mind you, Anna. They're leading the charge with 5 rounds.
They are.
This could be a
And
one-sided
they're
affair.
already... Seems very much like that.
Right
Oof,
here.
I'm kind of scared for AR Juniors. The biggest fear that came for me in this particular round was from the side of Disease. Once he started like shooting with that operator at such a close range fight, I was like, okay, this is done. But then comes the Savior hybrid right behind him, and then the bait setup just showed up, and it was just working pretty well. I'm liking how everyone from DUPG is trying to utilize their abilities not only for themselves but also for each other when it comes to taking those fights.
Bomb button out.
Bombs for the ultimate now being utilized. Scarix not really being able to get a lot of forward momentum going. Not the fastest ball.
Please, Frank!
Free ball kill, and now he's also going to use to run it back to gain a lot more early space. Good utilization of the Molotov. He's going to be able to find so much value. Look at the amount of damage that he's able to deal. And he's going to be able to find this third. Envy single-handedly from the side of Market just mows down his opponents. This DUPG full control galore, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do to run away from the crosshairs of Envy and Batman. 7-1 as DUPG. They hold down the line strong.
Not taking anything away from DUPG or from Envy. Beautifully done from their side, but I cannot understand. AR Juniors, Kyrex, what's happening? It was the same exact position. You know Envy is there every single time. You've died to him twice already at the same exact spot. Why would you enter there without checking the back of the box? Oh goodness. That was a useful ultimate that could have gotten a lot of value. Plus you had the satchels. You should have at least tried behind the box, right? In that position when you know Envy is there 90% of the times. Could have created
I
a
think
good
it was
space.
just a big mistake.
Yep.
They tossed up the satchel, and that is really going to be the thing that hurts him. Natsudo's come out and took out the operator player. Okay, never mind. B-side could be ripe for the picking. It's all up to Disease. If Disease dies here, this is going to be pretty bad. Goes White Swing to try and go in for a survival play. Envy on the opposite side. He's still able to hold. Flash comes out. Does flash himself out a little bit here. Early information, and now he's going to be able to get to a forward position. Flash comes out from the side. A good peek, but Garrix is just going to be better when it comes under the utilization of the Sheriff. Down to two last players for the side of ARG to maybe pull off a miracle here. Considering their HP, I do not believe that this is going to be a possibility. Eric's maybe good for one more kill, a good shot. Maybe give them a little bit of an edge. For Prophet? This is going to be the Lord and Savior for all of it. Not today. Because A-Star, he had his phone number to call him up as DUPG. They take an 8-1 and a 7-round lead in their favor.
Beautifully done from the side of DUPG. And yes, there comes the timeout from the side of AR Juniors.
Right
Very,
Right here.
expected timeout here. Hopefully they will be able to break down the momentum from the side of DUPG, because right now they just seem like an explosive team to have entered the tournament.
It's just the confidence that they have is what's really surprising me, Johanna. The
That's true.
audacity to
However-
just keep on going it for swings
Yeah.
as a Phoenix. And a lot of players don't have that. Trust me when I say this.
True that. But yeah, I mean, the one thing that scares me for them though is that a team which has that kind of confidence does not take very long to move into a
Right here.
place which is a little more than confidence. Wouldn't want to use the word though. So I mean, I hope they're able to hold their cool when they're marching forward in the tournament, because the way they're playing is amazing. The way they're utilizing their abilities is completely fantastic. I have high hopes from this team, but I don't want to see them falling prey to the point where their confidence tries to meddle with their ego and put them in a place where they are just falling.
I also live by the saying whenever I play Valorant, having ego is a good thing, but having too much ego is bad. And I think that the members of DUPG, they strike that perfect balance. And very few teams that we have witnessed, even on the highest levels of play, have really gotten a lot of use out of a double duelist composition, considering how important utility is. But I think that Phoenix is one of the few characters in the entire game that fills the role of having ample amounts of utility, plus being that raw firepower that you need on your team. But it requires the player playing the Phoenix to be at top-notch form. And the fact that Envy is hit... He's the star of this show. But then again...
Sure is.
Yeah, but then again, I don't think he should let it get into his head. Very slow start coming in from the members of ARJ. They're gaining
you
information, but they're
expect that
using so
anyways?
much utility for it. No, but they're using so much utility. Think about it. 2 prowlers already utilized, and they don't have a lot of space to play around with either.
Exactly. All that utility and no information to be gained out of it. Like all they know is one single player's position who has been able to relocate already. Hybrid with the track is also going to be able to take out the sentinel, so no more passive information either.
30 seconds left.
This is not the best round for AI Juniors. Well, not many have been.
Oi! AMD!
Wow. An important one.
The man just swung out with absolutely no regard for his own safety. A couple of good trades coming in. Someone get a... Being the savior here down towards the main side. Disease, I do not believe that he has an opportunity to do anything here. Take that operator and save it. Because ARJ, they found a crack in the armor of DUPG here. A very unfortunate miss shot coming in when it came down to the corridor push, but it's completely fine. As for Disease,
The first lines.
pretty much the sake of survival.
Yep. It seems like on the defensive side, Phoenix from the side of WG Esports, that is NV2K, is playing the role of their first line of defense, who's just, you know, out there in the battlefield, making sure that he's getting those numbers up for himself and, like, you know, making sure that AR Junior does not have enough amount of utilities or number of players alive to be able to actually fight off. But being able to crack him in the beginning itself is definitely an opening that AR Junior was looking for a while, and this time around Kyrex was able to find it for them. So hopefully if they're able to continue this, they will have a better shot. But I think it's already too late for that.
Good shot.
Oh. The duelist is gone, no more space creation for the side of AR Juniors. They are gonna have to like take it one day at a time.
Oh, the timing! They're able to go through! Oh no, it's a free kill.
They have the
Do
spike!
not want to see stuff like... Yeah, they're not going to hold it. They're just going to run away. They already have full information of where
Yeah,
exactly
that's
the
true.
players are going to be holding on to. Because if the spike is dropped outside the B, that basically means all the players have taken full control over B main. They don't need to hold this anymore. They can just play for map control. And look at the positioning coming in from the Rays of DUPG. It's all the way forward, Batman! Unfortunate on the timing. As the Dark Knight gets found out. And it's an instant rotation
Now
back
again.
towards the B side, which is very dangerous. They're running straight into the lens of an operator. And Disease, he doesn't miss those. Oblong get completely caught off guard as Disease. The man is plaguing everyone.
30 seconds left.
He sure is, he sure is. This is not gonna be an easy shot for the side of AR Juniors, and I don't even think they should be taking this chance, to be honest, because
Cage trigger.
just save. From my opinion, just save. Or don't.
10 seconds left.
I don't think there is much that Natsu can do to try and survive this one.
Exactly.
No one alive around him. The power of friendship not really working!
Wow.
And Disease just gets a casual free kill in the process. Envy.
Last round in the
He's
half.
not gonna let anyone survive here. 9-2 as DUPG leading the charge of this entire game. As Vishak, as soon as he died, I knew this was over. You do not have a smoke up against an operator. And look at Disease on this op too. The man is in the zone.
He is, he is. Honestly, Envy playing as a Phoenix is so scary, considering that he is alone so hard to handle, and then you have two of them coming up so frequently, because one, the ultimate is too easy to charge, and two, it's him playing it, so it's like even easier. You have the ultimate back online in like 2 to 3 rounds every single time. That's just a lot to handle for the side of AR Juniors right now. Yet again,
Okay.
Disease with a crisp slap on the face for Kyrex. Oh goodness. This gotta hurt. Nope.
Oh! Beautiful work coming in from Prophet. He completely understood exactly where the run is being utilized, and then he store! Very unfortunate miss coming out from his side. That's going to be huge because now players are just going to keep on dropping. The spike line not in their favor. Batman does get a little bit of a consolation prize of his own, but regardless of it, they need to be pretty fast on the push out. It's going to be on one get out way coming in with the sheriff. Good for the person to kill the knife ball, getting a lot more information than they would have warranted for. Someone does get a gun in his arsenal. Horn towards the left side, knows the exact position of one of the players, and Oblong get out. Beautiful utility usage coming out from the player to hold down the line and to get
Switching
a 9-3 score line for the side of ARJ as they move towards their defensive half. And this is where the game. Yep. And this is where the real fun begins because this double initiator setup, if they're able to play it properly, Anna, this is where their real strengths will lie.
Absolutely. Being on the defensive side, they are going to be able to capitalize quite a bit on this. However, for the side of DUPG, they do have double duelists running in as well, and that's gonna be interesting to see too. Because like being on the attacking side, if you do have the kind of aggression that's held by DUPG, it's gonna be a fun day for them. But let's see how it turns out. I do want to give a big shout out to Vishax for the last round though. The way he was able to like just switch from the spike planting and instantly pick out on Envy, it was beautifully done. Beautifully done. That awareness is optimal.
And we opting to go in for the classic instead. Interesting to say the very least. As Batman just swings out and catches poor old Natsu was trying to place out a tripwire. Not really the best of places to do that, my dear buddy.
Spike planted.
One more spotted. A couple of early bullets now being thrown out. Vicious. Not risking anything here. A very slow retake could just be in the process for the defenders. It's Carrick's. He's all the way in the back trying to go in for a full-on lurk play, but that Cypher Tripwire is going to give away all of the information. The retake is just about to start, Anna, and the first body already drops.
Well, Vishax is not going to be able to survive much longer now because once his position was given, all the players from the side of DUPG knew exactly what to do. They have brought the game down to a 4v1. This is how you hold a retake. I mean, the way our AR juniors were playing, they did get quite a lot of opportunities to go ahead and plant themselves. But once the plant was done, they weren't able to hold it the way DUPG has done right now. I mean, it did seem like the cards were tumbling, but they held their fort well.
And another thing is the way that they played for the Silver Recon too. The Recon Bolt came in immediately after the breach utilized the flash. Basically meaning that, hey, no one is going to be looking for a Recon, right? Because as soon as the breach flashes, you want to be ready to take a swing and take a duel. That is when the Recon came out. I love the way that the utility timing is working out beautifully for the members of the A-Star. He's taking his time for all of it. Batman as well. Utility galore coming out from the player. Does get paranoid out, but does die out to Vicious. One player for one. But with Batman already utilizing most of his utility, they didn't really lose out on much. They have full side control. And now, what's their play for this post plan? Oh, this is bad.
That Pain Chill did quite some damage, and now it's going to be very hard for DUPG to even stand their ground. A little fight won, but the battle is still going on, and there it is. The defusal will happen. Pushing Disease to just try and save the weapon. Not a very worthy one to save though. It was just a bulldog. But I love bulldogs, to be honest. Fun to play with.
I'm surprised this round. Anna,
Yeah.
I don't know why exactly anyone would want to plant on the staircase when you know that there's a breach on the opponent team. That is a suicidal move.
Let me show you how the boss does it.
One stun and they were just completely goners.
I hope they learned the lesson already though.
Yeah. That's one of the first few mistakes that we have seen coming out from DUPG that really costed them around. Hopefully, that's going to be a little bit more of a learning experience as Vicious maybe wants to be a little bit more aggressive on his own sideline as a good chunk of damage now being given to his arsenal. Batman. Over in the corner, he does have a little bit of early information to play around with. Envy in the corner of his own. Needs to try and find a kill here. If he wants to try and survive this one, he does get it. Flash in. pops out. But there's absolutely no backup to try and make him survive this one. And Prophet single-handedly making the run in towards the side. Has a flash in hand. Maybe going for something more, but Prophet, he does not need it. All up to Disease once again. The man, the myth, the legend. Each and every time when we see him, he proves himself. But not against Cyrax when he has a judge in his hands. 10-5 as ARJ. They're slowly inching their way back to a possible victory, but those victories are a little bit bittersweet considering the amount of weapons that they did lose. So their buys will not be looking the best.
True that. They still cannot find themselves in a comfort zone where they can actually afford to go ahead and lose a round or two. Because whether you talk about the weapons, whether you talk about the economy, all of that aside, they still have very little room for error. ARJ right now still has 5 more rounds to go ahead and equalize their score with DUPG Esports, while DUPG can literally capitalize on 3 mistakes and have themselves placed as the winners of this particular match. Let's see if DUPG is going to be able to be patient enough to go ahead and look for those mistakes, look for those desperate moves coming in from the side of ARJ, or they're just going to continue being just as aggressive.
What a shot, NB! The man's aim is just supreme each and every time we see it. Cyrax, though, does equalize things out to the slightest of degrees. That's his positioning is known, but Batman, no! He panicked under the pressure and he crouched. Let's get shut down, but deals a little bit more damage to play around with. Cyrax over from the side, pops out the ultimate, catches out Envy though over towards the back corner. That's a huge kill. The spam comes in and Disease just doesn't have much to give here. The poor guy, he tried his hardest, but it's always the post plants that are really hurting them the most here. DUPG, they're being aggressive, but I don't know how to put it here, Anna. They're making the right plays, but they're missing their shots.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely unthought of. By the way they played in the first half, I did not think I would be seeing them missing so many shots. But yeah, I mean, in this particular one, there was quite a good opportunity for Disease to come in as the surprise element and, you know, go ahead and create a sandwich situation for the side of AR Junior. But then he just did not have any more players left on the side of DUPG to go ahead and capitalize with. It became a solo effort instead of a sandwich situation. I'm scared for DUPG.
They get a pretty good catch though, Natsu over for Batman. So in general, not really the worst of positions for them. But they start. Let's get a free plant going for their team, but even then, it is not really that favorable. This is so crucial for Disease to go in and find the skill. But A-Star comes in with Envy from the sidelines, and now this is a post one that we can write home about. Proper holds, and they were able to completely isolate the defenders before they opted to go in for a full-scale retake. Considering that the Breach used his stun early, they didn't have anything to go in for a full-scale retake properly. The stun is pretty much requirement, Ahana. Otherwise, you can't really start this retake proper.
True that. But yeah, I'm really wanting to see just a little bit of patience from the side of DUPG, to be honest. Because like, you saw the fight where Disease was fighting against Vishax. He literally found him completely looking in the opposite direction. Just had to be a little more patient before he made his shots. He had complete opportunity to walk out, but this Marshall is gonna be damaging for the side of DUPG.
That's a Dragnail showcasing why he is the Dragon Slayer. Catching out Batman in this instance, but then again, you lost out on your race, but you have to make sure that the gun does not go in the hands of another one. Oblongetta, he's been completely missed out. And that's going to be a huge problem for them.
Henry is still balancing the numbers out for the team. It's still a 4v4, but I'm definitely seeing quite a standstill position coming. Prophet being taken out does take out quite a few utilities that AR Junior was being reliant on all this while. This is gonna be a much better position for the side of DUPG than before.
30 seconds left.
2 versus 2 already across. No real guns that are favorable for the members of ARJ. Early information, it's Vishox! Catches out A-Star. Completely out of position and not in the best of spots here. Now it's all hybrid. Maybe pull off a miracle. Good for the first kill. He's now looking for more. 5 bullets left. He can't really opt to go in for the spam. Positions are good as hybrid. He's taking a very big risk here. The smoke just about to fade in a little bit here. He doesn't need to opt to go in for the full spam. He whips out the classic and he does get the clutch here. Right at the very end. The aim does not fail him when he needs it the most. 12-6 as DUPG. They're now at match point to try and close everything out here.
Well, DUPG has definitely found themselves at a great position for this particular map, but I think they do have to keep themselves on point for the next map as well, because the way the almost comeback started happening from the side of AR Juniors, that's not how you would expect the game to turn out after having such a dominant first half for yourselves. And that too, all on the basis of missing your shots, all on the basis of not having the correct aim game. So I think DUPG needs to come back out of their shell and be like, a little more comfortable with their game style. Have a little more confidence.
And me now just already jumping himself down forward. Run it down, boy, because you are now the king of the server, but Oblongeta tried to dethrone the king, but he's not going to be able to do much just yet. Hybrid still in the perfect position to try and hold down the line here. He's trying to bait out the players for as long as he possibly can, but Xerix again with the flag. He comes in clutch for the big save, but it's not going to be happening just yet. The shots need to connect over towards the back. The showstopper's going to be even bigger of an issue. The kills don't come out, and it's all up to Disease to maybe pull the miracle here. The paint shell forcing him down over into a corner. Again behind the smoke, the poor man just cannot do more. Survival for the fittest, and it's going to be the members of ARJ who have proven themselves from this gauntlet of utility that they are the ones to win. 12-7 as they're still surviving, but the question is for how long? With 5 rounds differentiating from a possible overtime.
Well, from what could have been literally the last round of the map, they have been able to bring themselves back into the game. So I'm hoping them to bring more to the table and just at least take us a little more closer to the end of this one. He starts the second round trying to gain as much information as he can from the beginning itself. And from the get-go, they do have their eyes set onto the Fade. If they're going to be able to take that frag out, they should have an easier entry.
A couple of these rounds have been very close.
Not ready yet.
A little bit more close, a little bit too close for comfort in some situations. If Ace was able to get a kill over on the player that was pushing in through A main, that could have been a big difference maker with only Cyrex being the player to stay alive. But for now,
Right here.
you need to go in for the best possible opportunities. Early info, spots out the first official player. Already one being spotted as Bishops. In towards the back, flash out, swing in from the sidelines. They want to get that first little bit of information from Bishops. Single-handedly turning the tides of this one. Utilizing the shrouded step beautifully to get to the cover over on the top of Market. And utilizing the smoke from his opposition as cover for his own deeds. A good defensive hold as a 12-8 scoreline. Still, the possibility of a victory is in the hands of ARJ if they play their cards properly here.
That's true. However, I do believe that if you once go into the overtime, it does seem more lenient towards the side of DUPG Esports because they are going to be opening on the defensive side every single time. And that just gives you an edge because they were much better on the defense. So unless AR Junior just goes ahead and does a better job at the attack as well.
Nice.
This is not looking good for the side of DUPG. They're losing players way too early into the game.
Choice are certain. And look at the amount of backup that is being given by the initiators as well. You're in a bad position, don't really worry about it because we have you covered in every instance. Disease, position's already known, but he's trying to maybe get a little bit more of a forward space. In a lot of situations, Oral Disease has always been the last one alive, sitting behind the smoke to maybe bring his team out of a tough spot. But look at everyone's positioning. The defenders, they're already in prime spots to go in for a full-scale retake and be over from the side. He's still going to be able to hit the shots, though. Profit does go in for the shutdown, and now Asar In towards the back, the flash dodge is good. He's going to be able to find the first. He needs to swing in for the second. The timing is good. He's still able to find it. And A-Star is able to get out scotch-free. No way, and Disease is in a prime power position to go in for plays with his teammates. In from the side, one from the other. Bishop's in the last one alive, but Disease is going to be the one to shut him down. Positioning down to perfection. No mistakes made, and the members of DUPG, they reign supreme. It's good God, this first map was a roller coaster of emotions.
It was quite a bit. Well, I'm happy that Disease got the chance to redeem himself by taking that last track of the map out for himself, because there were times when he could have actually closed the round in, but he was always caught in a 1v2 situation, being the last one standing, trying to fight off for the team and clutch, but every single time failing. This time around, he was able to get the last one out, and this was outstanding. I am impressed to see that WG Esports is still carrying forward with the same kind of gameplay that they did before, but I do want to see more improvement. I want to see them being able to go ahead and tackle even the panic situations, even the situations where they feel like they're almost won already. I want them to hold their cool and actually go into every single round as if this is a one-round game.
True story, because DUPG, their confidence is where they are really shining at the brightest. And I will personally say that their overall executions are fine, but their post plans are a little bit iffy when you think about it overall. They don't really understand where they want to play or where they want to extend their sides, especially when they're heading on over to the B side of Sunset. It's a little bit of a question mark because you need to extend somewhere. Normally, whenever you're taking over the B side, either you extend fully out towards Boba or you completely take over market. You only have two options, and you need to take one particular side, considering how congested the B side can be if you're trying to hold it down. Just by hold it down just through one portion of the entire map. Even if you're playing towards the back end of Pillar, it's still not going to be enough. The options always need to be present, but even then, I'm going to be sounding a little bit more like a broken record, so I'm not going to be trying to hard focus on that particular instance, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about what's going to happen in the fall, because Sunset's already at that place. We already know what transpired there and why the members of ARJ kind of fell through, because they were not really able to coordinate with Cyrix as much as they could have hoped for. Cyrix just was kind of doing his own thing in a lot of instances, and there was a big disconnect from the duelist and the initiators, which rarely should ever happen. A duelist without his or her initiator just isn't going to get the exact same amount of value unless you have mechanical skill that far outshines your opponent. Cyrix was good, yeah, he was hitting shots, but it wasn't significantly better than his opposition. Then how do you try to tip that balance? You utilize your initiator utility that pretty much was being utilized for the other parts of the team, but the duelist didn't get any of it.
Exactly, and considering, yeah, hopefully, I did feel like the player on Breach, Prophet, should have gotten a little more opportunity to go ahead and take gunfights as well, because again, Breach is one of the pseudo duelist kind of initiators who can actually go ahead and take fights for himself. I did want to see a little more firepower coming in from him, and as you mentioned, I did want to see a lot of coordination between the initiators and the duelists from the side of AR Junior as well, because that could have led to a lot more room making and a lot of man count advantage that they could have created for themselves, specifically on the side when they were attacking, and that should have been the way to go for them. But I feel after the first 4 rounds, they already fell in a trap of being like too underconfident to actually go ahead and take those fights the right way. However, it's gonna be a new map, a new story altogether, and hopefully they will be able to write it in their own words.
Hopefully, but I don't really know what to expect coming out from them after a map such as Sunset, because if you're not able to play Sunset to a good enough caliber and utilize utility, then you're not going to have the exact same level of proficiency when you play, for example, Icebox. Icebox is a map that really has evolved with time, and not in the sense of where the map and how it's played. It's more like the initiators that you normally pick up on this particular map. Initially, what was the primary pickup? Whenever you do play on Icebox, it's what? A Sova with a double duelist in some cases, maybe a double sentinel with the Sage and a Killjoy. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this as the scorecard does show up. it's just going to be very different how both of these teams are going to be playing moving on that forward, especially with the double duelist composition being picked up by DUPG on the map of Sunset, mind you. I'm really
Yeah.
interested to see what NB's going to play on the map of Icebox because Reyna's still going to be on the cards. The possibility of a Jet is also present. Ray's still very prominent and strong if you know how to play it. The options are endless. And considering how good WG are at adapting to a double duelist composition, it's going to be difficult for AR Junior to try and predict them.
True that, true that. I do believe that we're still going to be seeing NB playing Phoenix itself because he does have great, command over the agent and he is pretty comfortable playing it. However, I am hoping to see a little more change coming in from the side of Batman though because we did not see as much impact coming in from the side of Batman as expected considering he was playing the other duelist and he has the least number of frags from the whole team. So let's see what changes are coming in from the side of Batman for the next map.
Going to come down over towards the MVP. It's going to be none other than MVP, of course. The man just
Yep.
he's a legend. The guy showed no remorse. He was hitting each and every one of his shots, jumping into smokes, utilizing the run it back to its fullest. He was not afraid, and having a fearless duelist like this on a team pretty much guarantees your squad victory in any series. And I've talked about this in the past that if you have a good Phoenix player, that one singular Phoenix player can play every other duelist because Phoenix requires a lot of confidence to play to his fullest capabilities. And with the confidence overflowing, PUBG Esports, they're spearheading their way towards victory with NB at the helm of it all. But then again, hopefully it does not get to his head because even with such high stats, Icebox can humble even the best of duelists as we have seen in the past.
True that, true that. I do have a lot of expectations from the side of Disease as well, to be honest, because Disease being the cipher in this particular map was giving quite a lot of, backup to the team. And also being the last man surviving every single time, it does seem like he was doing something right every single time. And I feel like going on to Icebox, where the Sentinel becomes quite more important than it is on the map of Sunset, more pivotal to the overall gameplay. I feel like Disease will have a lot to carry on his shoulders and might need a little bit of, energy supply for himself to be able to do that for the next one.
You'll just have to wait and see. Never really know what to expect coming out from these players at the end of the day. But what you guys can expect is a lot of really good deals coming out from our sponsors. So as we're going to be heading on down over into a short little break, make sure to check out all the links down below in the description to see exactly what deals we have for you. And hey, if something suits your fancy, why not click the buy button and go into checkout and go in for a little bit of a fast delivery. But for now, we're going to be heading on down over into a very small little break to set everything up for map number 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in the long range. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with map number 2 of this extravaganza of the AMD presents Flipkart Back to College Cup Season 1, powered by ASRock, Acer, W Black, and Portronics. It's going to be over aggressive back on the hot seat once more with Ahana on my side. And hey, map number 1, it was a little bit of a journey, a lot of up and down emotions, I would say, because goddamn, the members of DUPG really showcase to us exactly how strong a Phoenix can be in the hands of a master. But when we're moving on to a map such as Icebox, which is a little bit less reliant on the duelists now in this current meta, more reliant on the initiators, and of course the utility levels of play that you would expect from top level teams, I do believe that the members of ARG will struggle heavily, but I could be wrong. You never really know, Anna. You could probably take my sentiment, or you could go in the complete opposite direction.
Well, I do believe that it's going to be a very fun game coming in from the side of DUPG Esports because, again, nothing taken away from AR Juniors. They're doing good, but I'm not seeing as much.
Coming out from her side. Oh wait, no, I can hear her. Never mind. That's just me.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just saying that I do feel like WG Esports is going to have a much heavier hand on this one as well because nothing taken away from AR Juniors. They're doing good. They're doing pretty fantastic for the first showing, but I'm definitely not seeing as much match in the caliber on the two teams. I'm seeing a lot more coming in from the side of WG, and I'm really wanting for Envy to go ahead and pick up a Sage.
I mean, Sage is good, but in this current meta, especially with Gecko now being even better than what he used to be, having a Sage is just not really that necessary. Normally, why did you pick up that Sage, right? Because you wanted to have a little bit more of a safe plan, because planting on the map of Ice Bolts is pure of suicide. If you plant the bomb, you're pretty much guaranteed to die. We've seen this back in Old Sentinels as well when Shroud was playing that people gave him the bomb, he planted the spike, and then he started trying to run away, he died, and that kept on going on for at least like 7 to 8 rounds until they finally just were like, no, you're not going to plant the spike anymore, we're just going to let you walk away. We're just going to let you play the game. And that's why Sage was such a prominent pickup on this particular map. But now that Gecko is here, having the wingman to go in for the plants, you have the proficiency as a player, why not play the Gecko? But then again, Gecko also has another problem that you need to synchronize with your team a little bit, understand how the flashes work, but it is not a very difficult initiator to play. We're going to be jumping on down over into the game to see exactly what the members of ARJ have in store for us, because personally, I like their composition a little bit more in comparison to DUPG, but DUPG, they're playing to their strengths, which is what, Anna? They're pure, raw mechanical skill.
Yep, they are. And well, we are going to be able to see that Sage as well as the Viper. We were thinking that both of them are going to be swapped around this time. But well, Vishex is going to stick to the Viper, and we are going to be seeing his counterpart from the last map, Hybrid, playing on the stage. Very aggressive start from the side of AR Juniors. No fruit yet though.
A lot of early information. That's going to be a good chunk that they can utilize moving on down forward. But with the Sage still being on the map, they're instantly going to get everyone back up to full HP pretty much. 45 seconds for a heal. That's more than enough time to go in for a play. Cyrex in the back. Asar utilizing the Owl Drone to get a little bit of early info. Avlangeta getting completely caught out. And now it's a full-scale retake. How is this one gonna work? It's gonna be a tough call! As Cyrex catches out Hybrid with the spam, and that was absolutely beautiful. That's the first initial play, and the retake starts off.
It does. It was a great shot, but they weren't able to deny the plant just yet, so it's gonna be them racing against time right now. So I wanna see how ARG will do that.
One enemy remaining.
Really in prime positions as the retake is just prominent as Prophet. Coming in with the killjoy, his aim is reigning supreme here for the very start of this matchup. As the defensive side seems to be where the members of ARJ are really feeling comfortable. And with such a good start, and Prophet being so confident that he's going to pick up a Phantom in this round, this could just be very interesting.
A very early investment into an AR. Let's see from the side of AR Juniors, nonetheless. I was wanting to see a little more of Prophet in the last map as well, and now that he has shown up pretty well. So I think this could be a pivotal change that can actually lead AR Junior towards the side of victory. But let's see. It's too soon to say because we haven't yet seen DUPG in their element on this map.
Give them a little bit of an opportunity to just feel out the map. This DUPG. We've seen this team be a little bit slow when it comes down to the initial takes here. But then again, single dealers composition, not their greatest strengths here just yet. Hybrid. Back to the stage, they're going to be able to get a little bit more land going. Cyrix. The aim on this man is now finally activated. He's hitting the shots that he needs to make sure his team goes to the finish line. One kill is all that Disease needs to try and find to maybe make this round a little bit more fruitful, but at the end of the day, DUPG, I don't think they're going to be that unhappy, but then again, if they did maybe take out a player or two, this round would have been even more successful compared to just hitting the plan.
He says their bullets.
True that. I do want to see a little more coming in from the side of DUPG as, you know, with Sage, I feel her most potential is utilized when you see her actually going ahead and taking those fights instead of just being a backline agent going ahead and healing the players and, like, you know, trying to control their area for them. I want to see the use of the wall or barrier orb go ahead and, like, you know, give them multiple creative positions to take fights from and give them also a covering to, you know, back down into. So, I mean, the full potential of Sage is still to be explored, but I'm still not even seeing the jet potential being taken up as much from the side of NB either. So, let's see what happens. I'm really hoping for things to change soon.
Well, it's going to be the anchor for this east side, though. Very dangerous man to run into considering how well his aim worked during that piss round. Still in towards the back, he's just waiting it out. And no one has really cleared him just yet. Profit, good for one kill.
Nicely done.
His position's already known and he's stuck under a slow restart. He knows that the Prophet is in towards the back, but he can't help to go in for the swing. The Viper wall is still not present here. He doesn't have the opportunity to try and maybe catch out Prophet. As long as he's still alive in this position, there's going to be such a problem. Hybrid coming in strong with a double kill. Survives, and he's going to put his team in the best wall position to try and get this round out. A-Star comes in from the sidelines over on the toss side of the wall to go in for the last two kills. And a beautiful round indeed for the members of DUPG as they get themselves back in towards the game and get around and will stabilize their entire team.
The adaptability from the side of DUPG, the quick adjustments coming in from their side are definitely impressive, and I want to see how far this can take them because, as expected, they were able to put their you know, potential on Sage onto the boards. However, now what I want to see is for them to actually go ahead and utilize their Viper well as well, because yes, the first Oxen screen is coming in, it is giving them room, but I want to see more use of the other abilities as well. There can be a lot capitalization that can be done with the DK that comes in with the snake bite as well. I'm not seeing that come into play just yet. I'm hoping to very soon.
It's all about the timing in this scenario. Zenby. Opting to go in for a little bit more of a lurk up here. He wants early information. Sound already being given as Vishucks. Still holding from the opposite end of yellow. Taking his time and he's taking it slow. He's waiting for information to be given by the attackers, but L'Oreal dies just yet. Hoping for a full-on fake with the spike going towards the east side. This fake play could just work out. And I do believe that the members of ARG, they're kind of biting it with a lot of players now positioned towards mid, and the A side opting for a full-on retake.
I mean, I find this slightly risky for the side of AR Juniors, to be honest, because when you go towards site A, you do have two entry points, but one of them is completely, you know, just wait and watch kind of situation. Well, with that ultimate, they are going to be able to change some things around. A couple of frags here coming in for the side of Prophet, thanks to the Gecko, but it's come down to a 1v1. Kyrex.
Oh, he's playing it so smart. I love this from Disease. The guy is so smart. I love this. Disease, you're an absolute Chad. The man just playing mind games at this point. In towards the corners, 8 seconds left on the clock. He's ready to get off. 2-2 was Disease. Played that round to perfection. Another big one for
Well,
their
now
team.
we know
Plus,
why-
don't forget.
Need a drop.
Yeah. No, go on. You were saying.
Yeah, I mean, now we know why Disease is always the one left behind at the end of the circle, just waiting to go ahead and, capitalize on that information. Because during attack, I think the kind of mind games you require to actually go ahead and make sure that your plan does not get diffused, he got that down to the dot.
He does that perfectly. The man has the clutch potential and the PUBG in his arsenal, but Cyrex and his Sheriff's just been singing such a beautiful song. Every scenario that you put this man in, that Sheriff finds value. The Resurrection being utilized to pick up the Jet from the small mistakes that were made, but it's a good chunk of utility also being invested by the defenders. No information utility in hand, and weak weaponry, mind you, in the hands of the defenders. So they need to play a little bit more of a defensive setup and maybe double up with each other. A little bit of a slowdown. They can't opt to go in for this plan just yet. All the defenders now in prime spots to go in for a hole, but Disease, he's opening things up. Vicious now no longer in the fight. Cyrex again coming in strong with the Sheriff. He does find a second.
Enemy from that long range was still able to find Kyrex completely, and this has put a great spot for the side of WG. Air Junior has no standing anymore. This was a very clean round for the side of WG. They have literally lost just one single player, and that's gonna strengthen their economy as well going forward.
2-3 as the members of DUPG finally found their foothold on the map of Icebox here on the attacking side.
It took them a while, but here they are. It's still not very far away for the side of AR Juniors, so they can still climb back up. It's a one single round difference. However, there's a map advantage already for the side of DUPG, and they can actually afford to lose this one. However, I don't think they want to.
Who would ever want to lose a map advantage? Considering how long a game of Valorant takes to play those 3 maps, that takes a lot of energy.
Here.
And also a lot of fortitude mentally. Batman, though, does find out Garrix, and that's 2 free kills coming in the hands of Batman. The Lurk is working on wonders for them, but Natsu and Prophet, just such a difference maker for their team. Now Disease, it's his opportunity to try and maybe find something big here. Natsu gives his position away as Disease. He is the one with the spike in his hand, so he has an opportunity to go for one plan and opt to go in for the perfect post plan if he wants to here. Timing is key for him. He needs to try and catch out this Viper before he gets on top of him quickly. As Disease, he's going to be none the wiser. Over on the top side is going to be Vicious, who catches him completely off guard. 3-3 as the members of ARJ single-handedly taking over the round is going to be Vicious and Natsu. These 2 players over towards mid just played the mind games that was required for them to win. Even though Batman got the 2 kills over towards A main, it just did not matter.
True that, true that. The way the gameplay is coming in from the side of AR Juniors, it seemed like they are much more comfortable with the verticality of this map, and somewhere it's felt like DUPG just forgot that there's yet another angle which can, like, have an aim on you at that particular position. It does put them in a lot of trouble. It's again an equalized scoreline, and the confidence, the comfort that DUPG had found themselves in the last game, they're not going to be able to hold on to that for long.
They need to try to clear up their communication lines, because currently they're not really properly talking to each other, because there's a big disconnect in what the actual plan is and how they're opting to go in for these executions. I love the way that they're playing. I love the ideas that they're going in for, but they don't really have the utility to make it work out. When you don't have the utility that is required for you to make these solo plays happen, to set up Envy, you need to make sure that you're at least there to back up your teammate and allow him to get refragged if the worst case scenario does come to pass.
True that. The trades do have to ultimately be in the advantage for them to actually win this. This was a very cheap position over Sage, but well,
Spike planted.
back into the game. There's still a lot of hold from back lines, but this Viper's Pit is going to give them quite a lot of opportunity to actually hold on to this plant. Nobody is staying inside the pit. Not one of them.
Oh, the Viper is gonna stay inside of the pit.
That
Oh, this
just-
is bad. Look behind you! Look behind you! The Sage! Then look at the Sage! Forward to the Sage!
Last player standing.
Oh, God.
One enemy remaining.
This was...
I love Hybrid. I love Hybrid. The man just played the mind game of the century. He baited the Viper completely and he stayed in the corner. No one was gonna check the Viper spin for a second player. Master, why did you not go to the Sage? I know it's you on the opposite side of the observer.
This was beautifully done from the side of DUPG Esports. However, they do have to keep coming up with more and more mind games to be able to actually seize this one. Because the scoreline is much closer this time around than it was in the last game. In the last game, we saw 6-1 at this point of time. Right now, it's 3-4. It's not a lot of difference.
Placing swarm grenade.
Spike down. B.
Look at
is not
Hybrid. He's
stopping.
just... Nah, this guy's running the highs right now. He knows that he is the hero of that last round, and he is going to keep on making heroic plays for his team as much as it's required. Disease, though, in a good position to maybe go in for a little bit more of a lurk. Hybrid! A very risky fight for him to take in a position like this. Completely out in the open, still regardless, he gets a kill for his own troubles. Sub one getter. No wingman to try and give him an edge here. It's Batman playing a couple of mind games of his own. Gets spotted out, has the opportunity to go in for a kill. He's not going to be able to find it. Natsu instead does get the shutdown, but Disease is present and ready to go in for the immediate refrag. RJ, down 2 rounds already as DUPG. They're once more back in the driver's seat.
Thank you.
That they are. This time around, they were able to go ahead and capitalize all of those frags by going in for the refrags at the right exact time. And well, the start that Hybrid landed to the team was perfect. Could not say long enough, but he did have 3 frags for himself, making it quite a good start. He's the shield and the sword. It's established now.
He does find the opener for the first one. I won't get on the opposite side of this one though. Maybe he wants to go in for an early fight, but considering he does have the crash, it'll be a very risky one to take. Not having the Viper on the defensive side to even go in for a hold here, it will be on pretty big difficulty as NB in a good position. Can opt to go in for a push if he wants to here, but Tyrex, look at how far up he's already gone. And this is an immediate one forward over towards the back end of the side, considering Batman's positioning. He wanted to bait out rotations, and that's exactly what they were able to find. Batman, though, trying to double dip in the worst possible situation. Natsu does find him out, but still, regardless, it's a 3 versus 4 opting to go into a retake without a Viper, without a Killjoy. This is going to be a tough one to have, even if you do have a Gecko with a Thrash on your team.
True that. This is not looking like the best of situations.
One enemy remaining.
A 3v1 now and nothing left for the side of AR Juniors. And we just closing the game up 6-3. Now there's no way that they walk into the second half without an advantage, so that's good. But AR Juniors do need quite a lot of polishing.
Placing sentry.
For now, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Give them an opportunity to really showcase to us what they are really capable of. KRJ, they've gotten a couple of really good rounds for their team, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to go in for a possible win here. NB for Natsu. Both of the Jets are now no longer on the map. But there's an opportunity to pick up another one. Pac-Man. The 6-man is able to get a kill, and Bishops? You know that Batman was in that position, and
Deploying drone.
he saw He pushed a Sage Slorb, his own team Slorb, to go in for a kill. The disrespect being showcased with members of DUPG. Give them a break here.
This was completely outstanding the way this round went. There's also frags with the turret, nonetheless.
One enemy remaining.
I want to find out what is it that DUPG is made of. To be honest, they are doing quite an amazing job. The way they started, it felt like this was not going to be a comfortable, map for them. But then they adapted pretty quickly. They were able to bring up their A game back into the field, and they've been doing good ever since. 3-7 as the scoreline stands. We're into the 11th round, and that's just a couple more left for the first half.
NB.
What is even happening right now?
I swear to God, NB. This guy actually has balls of steel. Hybrid is another one. Disrespect all the time. He's gonna be able to find a second. Beautiful kills coming out from the players. As now ARJ stuck in the worst possible position that they could have been in. NB over towards the top. He doesn't really find the kill, but his teammates are there to capitalize and make sure that his death does not go in vain. 3-8, the DUPG.
Last round before the switch.
Some of these rounds are just
Envy and Hybrid are literally playing beyond
questionable.
enemy lines, to be honest. It is. It is. It literally
Should
seems like
not
they are
be
playing
getting
as if
these
they were
rounds.
playing ARJ. Absolutely. They're literally walking right into the homes of ARJ and beating them up right in their own homes, walking all the way to the other side and just annihilating, destructing. This was a lot coming in from the side of DUPG. And well, even the last time around when DUPG had 8 rounds, ARJ went for a timeout. This time around they're doing the same thing, but this time they have a little more for their own favor. They have 3 rounds for themselves. Let's see. Let's see how this turns out.
don't really know what to expect anymore coming in from the teams at this point. As anything that I would predict is possibly not going to come into fruition, because the way that the members of DUPG are playing, they're throwing caution into the wind. They don't really care how the play is going to happen as long as they understand that we have the better aim. We're going to be able to outfrag them no matter what happens. With that,
True that.
a little bit of a pause has been taken due to some technical difficulties, so as this momentum break could just be the tipping point for the members of ARJ, you can't really hope for more, because what we did see coming out from the scoreboard earlier on, that their economy is in a very bad spot. So they don't have proper buys to even put up a good fight.
True that. It's gonna be a difficult run, but well, they have to see it through. They have to see all the way through. Hopefully, they're able to find themselves the comeback that they did the last time around. Because whenever there's a pause, you do see the momentum from the side of DUPG shatter a little. However, this one was not long enough, so you never know.
Beautiful.
And he's taken out right at the start of the game. And well, he's brought back to life as well. Every single time this has happened, there has been a resurrection coming in.
I love it when you see it. As soon as you do get a kill, immediately the player just comes back to life. And he's gonna be able to live through it too! The man gets a kill and gets out alive. One more opportunity. As NB in a very bad position of his own. Some people find out about G-Star. Trying to get some value at the bare minimum with the Hunter Spirit. They maybe find another kill, but even that's not going to be a possibility. Profit in towards that. Prime position. It's going to be Batman trying to be the difference maker for his team. He's going to be able to find the third, but Upload Gera is just faster. Goes in towards the opposite side of 410 and immediately just pops him in the head. 4-8. And that one pause is what they require to break the momentum and to get their team back in form. As ARJ, they're the ones in control, and they're the ones to take a proper first half in their favor. You would say that, hey, they've lost out on 4 rounds. How is this a proper half? But on the map of Icebox, when you're going into the attack, if you have the confidence, you can make it work. Because this map is possibly one of the best maps to play on if you have a double initiator composition and you know how to play it. Then it's no longer
True
a
that.
defensive sided or attacker sided map. It's very even on both fronts.
However, I do feel like DUPG as a team itself is much better when it comes to their own defensive side. So this might still be pretty difficult for the side of ARJ, but they do have
Enemy kill.
the hope
Good shot.
to go ahead and fight this off. Quite a good start for the side of NB2K.
Ayo,
Look at them, they're just going for capitalizing the area one after the other. Wow! Profit!
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
Okay. The round itself had as many emotion shifts as the whole game from the last one.
Enemy kill.
what the hell, Prophet? Look at this. Pop, pop. The man's the Aim Labs out here micro-shotting his way to victory.
Spike down.
Goodness gracious, that round was something. I don't have a word for it.
Beautiful in the way that they play as NB
Wow.
comes out with the outlaw. A free kill for him. This is why this gun is just so fucking powerful. Being able to take down the turret and immediately go in for a second kill, that's a rarity that no other gun can do! This Oblongetta comes in with the classic and catches out A-Star with his pants down. You don't want to be in a position
One
like this, and
enemy
the
remaining.
Outlaw and the Marshal, both on the exact same side, big value regardless. And with that, the 10th round pretty much guaranteed, I would say, for the members of DUPG. Cyrex already gave away his footsteps. Position's already found, and now it's a cat and mouse chase of who gets him first. Maybe he gets a kill or two, or he could even opt to go in for a plant here. If he does find the plant, that's gonna be huge value for his team. He does not require it. He's not required to go in for a kill.
Through that. And there he goes, extra 300 credits for everyone, and that's about it. Hybrid will be able to close the deal off at that. But yeah, I mean, explosive start yet again. I was not expecting this kind of a weaponry lineup coming in from the side of DUPG. There's a Marshal and there is an Outlaw. They're just wanting to take long range fights. In the beginning itself, just shut everything down. In a rush, they seem.
Another thing that I've also seen is the members of DUPG, they're playing a lot more better and a lot more controllably on the defensive side compared to their attack. Their attack takes some time to really ramp up and really start to take a hold of their opposition. But on the defensive end, their confidence really just starts to show. Pyrex, he's also trying to take that first duel, but not really in the best of spirits, I would say. This hybrid just catches him out with the sheriff, takes him 145, and now he's just stuck on an island. How do you want to try and survive this one? Prophet, he does find a kill over towards backline, so that's a huge pick off towards the mid side. And with that, they have an opening. The B side possibly could be on their cards, but even then, with the Jet holding down the lines with an operator, I don't think you want to take that risk. Or is that an operator? Or oh no, that's an outlaw. There's a good chance he's going to be able to find a kill with this one.
Spike
Might
planted.
very well. He does have the right angles, but we still need to see DUPG trying to come in for the retake. They have lost the Killjoy, which makes it slightly difficult because the Killjoy utilities are pretty efficient when it comes to holding people off and trying to actually go for that diffusal. But right now, the abilities coming in from the side of AR Juniors are the ones that are going to keep everyone's hands off of
One
the
enemy
plant.
remaining.
Not more left to say.
Ooh, nice try. There was a possibility that he could have gone in for 2 kills there, Hana. That easily could have turned the tides on this battle. DUPG getting a good chance of not really winning out on the round, but at the bare minimum dealing a little bit more economic damage before A-Star did fight the dust there. ARJ though, 5 rounds to their name. They still have a bit of an opportunity to make a comeback, but even then, it's going to be quite difficult to say the very least.
There's absolutely a spike in the utility usage from the side of AR Junior as they walked into the attacking side, to be honest. Like, they are having much more use to all these mollies once they planned for holding players off. I wasn't seeing as much utilization in the first half though. So this does seem like the more comfortable side for AR Juniors as well, alongside DUPG. So it just comes down to who's gonna beat it first, and DUPG again on the numbers are looking much more promising. A very slow start from AR Juniors this time though.
Top done.
Oh, interesting shot shots coming in from Star. Cyrex, he just wanted to go in for a little bit of a spam there. Star's head was just awaiting him. Slow when it comes down over towards the retake. They have backside control, but even then, this push not really looking as fruitful as you would have hoped for. The wall has completely hardened. Wait a minute! This is bad. The wall is now completely solid, and the players need to use so many bullets to try and break this one through. The timing is key. The trash comes through. One of the players have been detained, but more than ample amounts of time to make this one work out. Hybrid over towards the sidelines. He has all the backup in the entire world,
Nicely
and his
done.
team is there to give him the support that he requires to go in for the full defuse. 5-11. It's DUPG. They're back in the driver's seat once again. They lose one round, and they're instantly able to retaliate.
Placing a sentry.
True that. Every single time you go ahead and fight them off, they're able to come back with even more firepower, even more force into the game. There were definitely quite a lot of abilities coming in from the side of AR Junior to actually go ahead and delay that, defusal from happening. But quite a good spot here found out by Hybrid to go ahead and make that fight come into, action for them. Good support from the side of the Seas overall. Beautifully done in the last one.
That's the strength of a Sage, really. When you have that Sage wall, you can just create a completely different angle that your opponents will not be ready for. And unless the entire opponent team starts to break down the Sage wall, you don't really fucking value! It's empty! What? The just comes in with the Bulldog, and he's gonna be able to fight 3. Hybrid comes in as backup for the 4th. Oh my goodness! And how poor old Cyrex trying to maybe open things up, but it just will not work. Envy, how deep were you for this push? I thought you were on the attack side. I thought you were the attack side Jet for a second. When it pulls out the Bulldog and he's able to pull up a miracle like this,
Oh my
at the
goodness,
confidence on
what
this
did I
man.
just see? What did we just witness? Oh goodness. My eyes are having a hard time believing that this is the reality of the day. Oh goodness, that was quite amazing.
Placing
I
swarm
did
grenade.
not even suspect that he was actually going that far in. This was quite a sneak peek attack for the side of DUPG Esports. But well,
2 words. Daylight murder.
true.
You should run.
Good. That's gonna be a huge confidence. Just look at Batman. The Dark Knight just now has risen. Good God, what a flick and a half.
Spike down.
Don't feel the energy that Envy gave them on that last round. The members of DUPG, they're not gonna be missing much out on this one. 3 versus 2 on the map, a couple of throws here and there, but that's completely fine. As long as you're able to finish this one off, Disease over towards the back, and Hybrid has the full number of the last.
Defenders
Good
win.
kill to end things off as a 13-5 scoreline and a 2-0 to take the victory. It's the members of DUPG who are reigning supreme.
Mesmerizing is the word I have for the performance that DUPG had in this particular map. I mean, we knew they were the ones who had a better chance at winning it off, but I did not think it was going to be by this huge a margin. This was outstanding.
A round of applause is in order for the members of DUPG, especially for the last 2
Absolutely.
rounds. Batman hitting a shot like that mid-air straight on the face of Jet that was dashing into him. complete control, cool, calm, and collected for the second one too. He could have gotten a third, but I do think that he just started to shake.
Felt like it,
And
yes.
to-
Felt like it.
Yeah, and to have a team that can just back you up like that instantaneously, no questions asked, that's a blessing to have indeed. And for the members of DUPG, if this is the gameplay that they're showcasing to us, I want to see something even more coming out from them moving on down the line.
True that. I'm definitely looking at DUPG as one of the teams to watch for this particular tournament because the way they've been playing, it's fantastic. And this was just the first match on stream. Like, I cannot wait to see what the other teams have to bring to the table because this was completely outstanding the way the performance came in. Nowhere during the match could you actually go ahead and say that this is gameplay coming in from teams who do not have as much competitive experience as we see from the ones that we see in tier 1 tournaments. This was just completely annihilating performance coming in from the side of WG specifically, but there was good adaptation and good alterations coming in from the side of AR Juniors as well, making them just as good a competition.
I really hope that DUPG can really bring this level of energy moving on down the line in this upper bracket run of theirs because they have showcased to us that they are one of the top dogs of this entire tournament and they were not going up against a team that was a pushover. The members of ARJ, they had moments of brilliance, individual brilliance, I would say, rather than team brilliance because of the disconnect that they were facing. Once again, I will say that Eric's just was playing his own little game on that jet, but his teammates were just not able to rally behind him like the members of DUPG were up around Envy. If Envy was performing well, you had Batman come on down onto the fray. You had players like A-Star who was also performing beautifully, and then Disease just being that clutch master for the team, being pretty much the cornerstone that the team could rely on in all situations. It's a well-rounded squad, and to have a well-rounded squad like that in a tournament of this caliber basically guarantees you a top 2 finish, if not the number.
Absolutely, and the way the overall gameplay showed up, it was just like watching a flower bloom, just a very violent flower after all, because it's an FPS game nonetheless. But yeah, it was beautiful the way the support was coming in from the side of Disease as well as Hybrid. I think this one, no matter who has the most number of frags on the board, I think Hybrid takes this one for me. He was definitely one of the pivotal points for the side of Team DUPG because the way he was showing up to the occasion every single round was just outstanding. His performance was completely mind-blowing for me in this particular one. Even though, and we did try to take the limelight all for himself in the second last round, it was magic what he created in that moment. But I still don't want to take anything away from Hybrid for this one.
Not at all. Hybrid was he was the difference maker for the entire team, I would say.
Yes.
The man's creativity had no bounds. He baited Disease to the point of no return,
Oh,
but
yes.
he made sure that bait worked. The guy was chilling in the corner, and I was like, Master, please, please, move the camera to Hybrid. He's just hiding in the corner. And no one noticed him. Even our observer was confused. He's like, oh, he's just sitting there. He's probably dead, right? No one checked it. He was just able to find free real estate. He got all 4 of the kills. And mind you, Anna, when you're in a high-pressure situation like this, you start to miss a lot of your shots because you know that your entire team
Yes.
is not relying on you considering the bait that you just did. But the fact that Hybrid was able to pull it off, it turned into the best play that could have been possibly had an entire match.
Absolutely, and the amount of capitalization he had on that bait, like you lose a player, but you lose it for 4 that you take in exchange. It's absolutely great math for the side of DUPG Esports. I mean, the way Hybrid showed up was perfect, and I mean, not only that round, there was one move in which Hybrid was just able to go ahead and create that wall at the right exact time to save his own teammate, as well as make sure that he's standing at the right exact position behind it to go ahead and pick a frag onto the Killjoy from the other side. It was beautifully done. Multiple rounds, one after the other. There's just pure brilliance coming up from the side of Hybrid, round after round, and it was just marvelous to watch. It was a treat to the eyes.
Hopefully we're going to be able to see a lot more of that coming out from this team moving on down the line, but For the members of ARG, don't feel scoffed because you still have a lower bracket. You have that opportunity to prove yourself. Just try to play with your duelist a little bit more and create proper conjunction with one another. You're spending a little bit too much time trying to make your own game happen that you're kind of forgetting that I have two initiators on my team that I can really utilize to make my plays happen. Why not ask for the utility? Why not try to communicate that, hey, I'm going to be making this push here. I want you to throw my utility at this position. Or maybe give me a drone, give me a recon bolt, give me a flash, give me a wingman, anything. You just need to talk it through, especially when you have a Gecko on your team. That is an extra player that can give you pretty much infinite number of flashes and also act as a body that you can utilize to make your side entries easier. A lot of teams have now opted to now not even play the Sova anymore because of how strong Gecko is at gathering information and also being able to go in for the spike plants. KO now being a lot more stronger on the map of Esports because with just 1-0 point, he can gain all the information that the Sova did previously. You don't need that recon bolt anymore considering how much the meta has shifted over time and how good players have gotten. Now,
Yep.
let's talk a little bit more about the upcoming map as the upcoming game. Sorry, as our scorecards are going to get good. It's going to be 5-5 match, and I do believe that I've been hyping up the squad quite a bit, but I think that the more I hype up a squad, the more I believe that it could just go in the opposite direction without my knowledge.
Well, I was thinking the same thing before the last match started, but it did roll in the favor of DUPG as expected. So I think it's gonna be the same story for you. But we'll find out if Lovetails has a lot to give to this performance and a lot to fight for as well.
Coming on down over into the scorecard, ladies and gentlemen, to just get a little bit more of an overview on the map of Esports. We have talked about this quite a bit, and I think we have beaten the dead horse quite a lot of how good the members of WG Esports are. We're not going to talk about them. I'm going to be highlighting the members of AR Junior a little bit more. Prophet was phenomenal. His aim was god tier from the very beginning up till the very end of the map of Esports. What really was my main issue was the dynamic synergy from Natsu, Omugera, and Zerot. I didn't really see them together at all. Missions is a completely different story. Yeah, a Viper can completely take over the map, but he wasn't really given an opportunity to shine in a lot of scenarios. Either he was the last one alive, or he was in the complete opposite side of where the members of WG were going for a push. I want to see improvement come in from the two initiatives, but of course, to do this, he needs to have that synergy in check moving on down the line in that lower bracket. Otherwise, the teams that are going into the lower bracket, they're nothing to really solve about, because don't forget, they're also the people that have made it through the qualifiers. They're also players that have possibly seen and scrimed against the players of WG Esports. They know what to expect, and there could be a dark horse that we're probably going to be witnessing here in this following matchup that could be the ones to take out Air Junior just because they don't have the basic fundamentals of Valorant down, which is getting that buddy system down to perfection.
True that. I do wish we had seen more of Prophet, because like absolutely amazing performance. I was hoping to see more of him in the last map as well. But well, Icebox is the one where he got a shot, but it wasn't a very active agent that he was given. So I think there was a little bit of discomfort in playing as aggressively while you're a Killjoy. But yeah, we do have the match MVP on here, and I think we all know who's that gonna be. It's none other than
Yeah,
Hybrid.
I've been getting a 44% headshot percentage, mind you. This guy has been an absolute dominant force on the stage through all the Valencia, but the series has to be a little bit more of a question mark in my opinion, because Hybrid has performed well on both maps and when a bad map as well. Good opportunity that he could be the one to take this one. Hybrid has been phenomenal, but I think it's on hero for the members of the being that Killjoy, it's just a big surprise.
True that. True that. Well, we do have quite a lot that came in from the side of Hybrid. Not only in this map, I think he did good in the other map as well. And well, looking at the series MVP though, it is gonna be NB2K. The guy just did not stop. He had 38 kills in total, and with a KDR of 1.41, the guy has been absolutely surmounting all the challenges that were there to face. And like, he had first kills that were 10 first kills into 2 games itself. And mind you, the scoreline did not go very far. We did not reach 24 rounds in either of the maps. So it was like beautifully done from the side of NB2K. Doing exactly what the duelist was supposed to do, doing exactly what he was, called for, making sure that he's getting all the right shots at all the right times.
Yep. Another big thing that I'd like to highlight is the way that Envy really was confident. Even when it came down to the second match, he wasn't really performing to the best of his abilities, but even then, he was doing well. And that's what really gives him that edge moving on down the line. But Anna, I think that you can take it over from here.
Well, absolutely. This was quite an amazing game, and I have quite a lot of expectations for the next one as well. Me and Aggressive will be back with as much enthusiasm for the next game as we had for this one, because that is gonna be Fire 5 versus Laughtail, and I think Aggressive already has a pick on that. Let's get together soon enough to see which one it's gonna be in the actual scoreboards. So see you all right after this on a new stream for Fire 5 versus Laughtails. Until then, take care. See you on the other side.
stopping